Weather's getting nice, a lot to do, and appreciate you taking the time to be here. It tells me that you're serious about evangelism. As Christians, we have to retrain ourselves to think like Christ, to look like Christ, to act like Christ, to be able to take people like Paul and Peter and Philip and these guys we see in the New Testament church. We have to train ourselves to look like Christians and be separate from the rest of the world. One of the things that makes us different is our love for souls. And I'm not saying other people don't have love for souls, but we need to have such a love for souls that everybody we look at is a contact. We need to have such a desire that not one single person perish. We know, and we know it's God's desire. That's the reason in 2 Peter 3:9 he said the Lord's not slack concerning his promise, not as some men count slackness, but he's long-suffering. He's patient. Why? Not willing that any should perish. We've got to be evangelistically minded. It can't be an afterthought. It can't be something we do when we want to and don't do when we want to. It is the single greatest thing that we've been commanded to do. Anybody here, military people in here? Any veterans? Yeah, several. You get some important missions when you're in the military, but you've never been given a mission like the mission to save souls. It's the most important thing that you could ever do. And so, we talk about all these programs and everything that's going on in the church, but what's happened with the church is we've become very inward focused. I mean, we have groups, we have youth meetings, we have the golden oldies, we have the silver wings, we have the Meals on Wheels, we have the benevolence programs, we have the trunk or treat, we have vacation, we have all this stuff, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with any of that stuff, but it has to be tied to evangelism. I was in a meeting with a group of elders back in March or April, March I think it was, in Texas. And they said, we were talking about all these different programs that we had, and I had it up on a screen, and I was trying to show them, these things need to be modified around evangelism. And one of them told me, he said, Keno, the thing is, we have all those programs. They're a congregation of about 300. He said, we have all those programs. And he said, the problem is we've only got about 30 or 40 people out of 300 that want to do it, and they're so overwhelmed with that, if we try to throw evangelism on them, they're just going to quit. They're going to give up. They're not going to take something else on. I said, brother, get rid of this other stuff. Either modify it and make it about evangelism or get rid of it, because they're social. If somebody needs clothes, if somebody needs food, and things like that, there's a million places they can go get that. We're trying to save souls. That's what's important. And I don't have a problem with giving somebody some clothes or buying somebody a meal, but they need to sit through a Bible study. There needs to be some kind of something attached to that. Matthew chapter 6, verse 33 said what? Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then these things will be added to you. But we've gotten in a habit of becoming a social program where we're just catering things out to people, and there's no requirements on their part whatsoever to ever crack a Bible open. That's not helping them. That's not helping them. So we've got to get directed more toward evangelism. Let's talk about door knocking. Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. Flip over and read along with me. Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore, he's giving you some advice. He's giving you a successful strategy of how to knock doors. He says, therefore, be ye wise as serpents and harmless as doves. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more as we go through here, but I want you to understand that the Bible lays out door-knocking strategies for us. Again, this isn't something we just pull out of a magic hat. These are things that we can see what was happening at their time and how can we emulate that in our day and age and make it work for us as well. Jesus provided them with a method. If we're going to make door-knocking effective, we've got to have a method. Going out and doing the old, hi, I'm Keno with the East Sullivan, I was at an East place of the day, with the Sullivan Village Church of Christ, and we'd just like to invite you to come worship with us. What do you think they're going to say? Okay, well, no, I'm not going to do that. Or they're going to, or hey, I'm Keno with the Sullivan Village Church of Christ. Would you like to have a Bible study? No, they're not going to do that either. The worst thing you can do if you want a Bible study is to ask somebody for a Bible study. They're not going to do it 9 times out of 10. So we've got to have a method when we go out. We need a proven method. We need an effective method. We need a biblical method. Mark chapter 6, verse 7. And he called unto him the 12, and he began to do what? sinned. Do you know that 15 times from John chapter 5 to John chapter 15, 15 times Jesus uses the word sinned? He sent servants. He was sent. The Father sent him. Some way, sin, sin, sin. When you read that Great Commission, go ye therefore, that's an action word. Go. Get off your tail feathers and get outside the building. We got to quit being inward focused. We've been really good at keeping the aquarium, but we've been really bad at fishing for men. So we've got to get outside of the building, and we've got to start making these contacts. We got to start building these relationships. He sent them out sent them forth 2 by 2. When we door knock, sometimes we'll take 3, but we try to stick with that 2 by 2. Husband and a wife, or a couple of our teens or something. You'd be surprised. Your teens be some of your best evangelists. You go to a door, knock on the door, they may not give you the time of day. They'll sit and listen to your teens. If they'll go out and help you door knock, you'll be surprised. In fact, whenever Rob was door knocking with us the day before, or the morning that he came here, that evening, it was one of our young couples that made a contact that resulted in 2 baptisms. They knocked on a door, and I'll show you some of the techniques in a little bit, but they knocked on the door, James and Jennifer, and then they invited James and Jennifer out the following weekend to our house for the chuck wagon, and we were able to meet them then at that time, Jamie and I, and it transitioned into a Bible study, and they both put their Lord on in baptism. So some of your young people will be the best. Again, go out 2 by 2, or maybe you can have a third. Don't go out more than 3. It's overwhelming for the person opening the door. And don't go out by yourself, because you can put yourself in a bad situation with that. So 2 by 2, that's ideal when you're going out knocking doors. There we go. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 14, where no counsel is, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors, there's safety. So we want to have a plan. We want to have something that works effectively. We want to take something that's had success in other areas. We don't just want to go out there all willy-nilly, just with no plan, no idea what we're doing, and start knocking on doors, because that's not effective. That's what I did for a lot of years. A lot of years. That's what most people did. In fact, most people that I talk to about door knocking tell me, Keno, it doesn't work. You can't baptize people knocking doors. I've heard that I can't tell you how many times. In fact, I had an elder in the church told me at an area congregation, I said to him, we had 2 baptisms for knocking doors. He goes, knocking doors? He said, you're crazy, Keno. He's probably about 70, 75. He said, you're crazy. You know what you're going to do, Keno? You're going to get somebody killed in your church, in your congregation. I said, killed? He said, you go knocking on my door, I guarantee you I'm coming to the door with a shotgun. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure I watch the news nightly, and I've never seen anybody recently being shot for knocking on the door. Jehovah's Witnesses do it every weekend. They don't get shot. We'll be okay if we go knock on doors. So he gave him a strategy. He gave him a message. We got to know what we're going to say when we get there. We got to have a plan in our head. This is something we want to practice on. So, when you have those Mission Monday training sessions, you should probably try to schedule them once a month. You have a time where your pew greeters come and they train. Well, it's the same thing for your door knockers. Come together and train, practice. Somebody go around the corner and knock on the door and practice like your, role play. It sounds goofy, but what it does, it starts putting in your mind, they'll pop off different stuff, different scenarios, and you know how you're going to react to it and what you're going to say and how you're going to handle different situations. When I was a cop, I used to ride around in my patrol car, and I would think all the time, what if this happened? Or what if that happened? And I was always playing scenarios in my head, how I would respond to different things. Well, it's the same thing with this. What if somebody comes to the door and they're furious? How am I going to react to that? Or what if somebody comes to the door and they invite me in? Do I go in? Or what if somebody comes to the door and this or this or this? And role play those scenarios so when they happen, it's not a shock to you. You know how to proceed with it. So Jesus gave them a message, Matthew chapter 10, verse 7. As ye go preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Ultimately, this is what we're trying to teach people. We're trying to teach people that there is no delay until tomorrow. We don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. James says our life is what? It's like a vapor. Poof, it's gone. And sometimes, even if you live to be old, it's really not that old in the grand scheme of time. All of us know people that have been here 1 minute and gone the next, and we never expected it. Blew our minds, weren't ready for it. People need to know the urgency of it. But you can't just go right up and start into that study the first time you meet them. You've got to develop that relationship. So one of the ways we're going to do that is with compassion cards. When we go out and knock on doors, sometimes we do this. Hi, I'm Keno, and this is my wife, Jamie, and we're Christians here in town. I don't even tell them where we worship. I said, we're Christians here in town, and we're doing we're a card sending church. And so we're just going out today and we know a lot of people are dealing with a lot of things going on in their life and stuff. I just wondered, do you know anybody that we could send a card to? Maybe somebody's lost a loved one, or somebody's going through cancer, or something like this, that we could our congregation could send some cards to them just to cheer them up and encourage them. Oh yeah, man, John down the street, his dad just passed away like a week ago. That's the person you need to send, and they'll give you their name and address. Or you'll be able to go by and get it off their mailbox and start sending them cards. You'll be shocked how many times you'll get that information, and it makes a difference with people. When you've just lost a loved one, and you all of a sudden get 40 or 50 or 60 cards from people you don't even know, saying they're praying for you and they're caring about you, and it has a huge impact on people. We have had more baptisms from compassion cards than anything we've done. We've had people literally come. We sent cards to one lady. She was from Muskogee, which is only, 20 miles from us. But she came. She'd lost her mom. She came one evening to worship, one Sunday evening. She said, I got 0 cards from my congregation, the place where I worship at. She said, I got 47 cards from people I didn't even know at Coweta. And she came and visited. Now, she's attending a Church of Christ in Muskogee now. It's closer to her over there. But what I'm saying is, you're shocked how you can build relations. So this is one of the ways we can do it, is by going and introducing ourselves as a card-writing congregation and showing that compassion. It's doing 2 things. 1, you're affecting the person that's getting the card. 2, you're affecting the person that you're talking to about it. They're saying, hey, wow, the Sullivan Village Church of Christ, those are friendly people. They're compassionate. They really do care for people. And now it starts opening up. I wonder if you went within a mile radius of this building, how many people would know anything about this congregation. I can tell you at Coweta, we literally knocked doors 2 blocks from our building, and the guy had no idea we were even there. The building has been there since 1953, and he had no idea that we were there, and he lived 2 blocks away. Well, we've been too inward focused. We had to change things. We had to start getting out and letting the community know that we have compassion on them. So compassion cards is one of the ways. When you do those compassion cards, again, the quick rundown of it is, you have those names on that prospect list. Jamie handles our compassion cards at Coweta, so she'll have the cards already laid out in the right order. So if it's a visitor, a loss of a loved one, a cancer, whatever it is, 3 or 4 cards. We try to do about 3 or 4 at a time. More than that, it gets overwhelming because we're a small congregation. We'll do about 3 or 4 cards at a time. She's got the names on the sheet. Everybody walks in. All they got to do is look at the first name, grab the first card, fill it out, put it in an envelope, put the address on it, hand it back to her, and she takes them and delivers them. You don't want to, or puts them in the mail. You don't want to send the cards home, because what happens when you send the cards home, 1, they don't get mailed a lot of times, or 2, the people will get 37 cards one day and nothing for the next 6 days. They need to be mailed very methodically, at a certain time every day. So just fill them out, give them back to the card coordinator, and then he or she will handle them from there. Usually it's a great area for women to be involved in evangelism.
4 names on your
prospect list.
And then so when everybody gets together, everybody's writing 4 cards.
Everybody's writing 4 cards, yep. And so those cards, you lay them out in the right order, because the reason being is, one person got upset because he had was a leg amputated or something, I don't remember. But anyhow, one of the members just grabbed a card and it said, sorry for your loss. That sounds like a joke, but it's not. It said, sorry for your loss. This guy got furious about it when he received the card. So we figured out it's best. The card coordinator used to, we would say, just go pick a card. Well, people just pick a random card. The cards are specific: visitors, sick, loss of a loved one, thinking of you, praying for you, whatever. So she lays the cards out. So all they have to do is they just literally have to sit down, grab the first card, put the first name, grab the second card. And some of your cards are going to be the same, but what's important is the message that you put on the back side. You're going to write a personal message to that person. Hey, my name is Keno, and we heard that you're battling cancer, and so I wanted you to know that we're praying for you, and that we're going to check on you. If you need anything, we're here for you. We want to help you however we can. You're just building that relationship with them. And then what you're going to do when those cards are done mailing in 3 weeks or so, a couple of you are going to go out to the house and knock on the door. Hey, I'm Keno with the Sullivan Village Church of Christ. We know you've been battling cancer, and we sent you some cards. Did you get the card? Oh, that was you that sent the card? Yeah, come in. And they'll invite you in the house, and they'll ask you your name. They'll show you exactly where your card is on their mantle or hanging on their wall. They got 50, 60 cards in there. They're blown away by it. Now guess what happened? You're just plowing right through the prospect stage, and you're that much closer to a Bible study. Because then you can sit and you can visit with them. You ask them how they do it. Well, can we have a prayer for you while we're here? Sure. And you get done with the prayer. I'll tell you what, would it be okay if I stop back in and check on you in a few days just to see how you're doing? Oh, yeah, come back. Or maybe one instance with Rob and them, a man that he was visiting with, a basketball coach back there in Tennessee, he couldn't go out in the sun because of the chemo and radiation and stuff, and his yard's getting tall. So Rob said, hey, I'll tell you what, the church will take care of your yard until you're better. And they started going over once a week mowing their yard, It's community service things that shows that you care. That's what it's all about, is building a relationship and showing that you care about these people. So card writing is a very good way to do that. Let's keep trucking here. Okay, so Matthew 10:7. As ye go, preach, saying the kingdom of heaven is hand. We talked about compassion cards. The next one is house to house. Do you guys mail house to house, heart to heart? Okay, here's the deal with house to house, heart to heart, and I want to talk to somebody up there and tell them that they need to do a better job of explaining this. It is not a passive mailer. So many congregations start mailing it and then they quit mailing it because they don't see any results. It doesn't work like that. Very rarely will you get a result from house to house, heart to heart if you use it passively. The idea behind it is you mail it, after 6 months, knock on the door. Hey, I'm Keno with the Sullivan Village Church of Christ. We've been sending these mailers house to house, and you got one in your hand, We've been sending this out to you. Do you get this? Oh, yeah, that's awesome. We read it every month when it comes out. And you start building that relationship with them. What are they saying? I've never seen that before in my life. Well, here, why don't you take this one? If I can get your name and address, I'll start mailing those to you. It's free of charge, and it looks like it comes right from your congregation. I mean, it looks like it's printed in this building when they get it. It's got your worship times. It's got you can advertise things, gospel meetings, VBS, events in there. It's got great articles. You could ask somebody, you say, is there a certain article, a subject you'd like to see something written about? I told Alan Webster, I said, we need something in Oklahoma written about marijuana use for Christians. It's crazy what's happened to our state. And so he's going to write out an article. It'll come out in that house to house, heart to heart. He doesn't have any problem with that. We can say, hey, we had a request for this, and he'll write something on it. So house to house, heart to heart is a great way to start building those relationships and to go out when you're door knocking. Prayer, okay? This is one we did when we got the 2 baptisms that we got right before Rob came here. Hi, I'm Keno, and this is Jamie. Nicole was with us that day. I said, I'm Keno, and this is my wife Jamie and our friend Nicole, and we're just Christians here in the area, and we're just going out this morning just praying for people. The country is crazy right now, the inflation and the political turmoil and the division. We just want to know, do you know anybody that's dealing with stuff that maybe we could pray for? Maybe a neighbor or a relative or maybe somebody in your house. We knocked 151 doors that day. We got 31 people that gave us their contact information, and we got 2 baptisms from it. People that you'd be surprised. I mean, yeah, you could pray for me. You can pray for me. I'm going through this. We knocked doors here several months ago. The lady said, I've got cancer, and you can pray for me. We did. We tried to get a Bible study with. She was a Baptist there in town, and before we could get a study, she passed away. But, she was happy for us to pray for her. And so, it's an opportunity to just go out. You're not imposing on them. You're not trying to get all up in their business. You're just saying, we want to pray for you. Some of them will say, no, I'm good. I don't have anything. Well, hey, it's great to meet you, and you go on and leave it at that. Let me add something to that while I'm thinking about it. When you go up to a house, watch for a no soliciting sign. If they have a no soliciting sign, don't knock on the door. We're not selling anything, but just don't knock on the door if there's a no soliciting sign. In the yard, look on the entryway. Sometimes it'll be hanging up. Sometimes a sticker on the door. Sometimes a sign in the yard. But look for that. The other thing when you go up to a house is, if you know something about sports, look and see if you've seen sports stuff, like a sticker on their truck. Or maybe if you've been in the military and they got a veteran sticker on the truck. There's a deal called story selling. And the idea behind it is if you can find common ground within the first 2 minutes that you're in a conversation, your chance of selling your product, this is just in sales in general, your chance of selling your product goes way up drastically. So, if I'm coming up to some house, and the guy's got a veteran sign, first thing I'm going to do is get into conversation about, I was in the military, and we're going to talk about the military. Or just like with Ken, with him being a cop and me being a cop. Or maybe, you come up there and it's Oklahoma State, okay, go Pokes when they open the door, or Boomer Sooner, or whatever it is. Even if you don't like the team, just fake it, okay? Don't die on Mount Sports. Pick your battles. If you walk up there and it's the team that you despise the most in the world, still compliment them and talk about it. Get into a conversation about it. Souls are more important than sports. Souls are more important than politics. Souls are more important than a lot of things that we cause division over. And so go up, but look for those things. Even Jamie and I have gone up to house and, oh, you got a beautiful flower bed. You do your own flower bed, or you have this professionally done? Oh, no, I do it myself. And just start talking. You're immediately building that relationship, and those walls are coming down so that you can start working toward that Bible study. Community service. This is another one. I talked a while ago about the man that had cancer. Maybe you go up to somebody's house, an elderly person, and maybe their mailbox is broke, or maybe maybe there's something, the yard's grown up or something. You could do something to help them out. Offer to come back and mow the yard or fix their mailbox. We had some of our teens went several years back. They painted a lady's house. She had a little bit small wood-framed house. There was not a drop of paint left on this house. There's no way she could have ever done it. She couldn't afford to do it. So the church bought the materials, and they went out there and painted her house one Saturday for her. She was blown away by it. So just different community projects, things that you can do like that, just to show that you care about the community around you. Finally, the new movers. Part of the house to house, you get a new movers list. Do you get that email to you? So new movers, you take a basket out, knock on the door, and you just hand them a basket and welcome them to town. You're not asking for a Bible study. All you're doing is welcoming them to town. Hey, I'm Keno, and this is my wife, Jamie. We just noticed you're new, that you just moved into the house, and we just brought you a gift and wanted to welcome you. I've been in Coweta for 35 years. I know the best restaurants. Our kids that grew up in the school system. If you have any questions about Coweta, I'm your man. Give me your phone number, whatever, but I'm your person. And that's all you're going to do. You're not going to ask them for any kind of Bible study. You're not going to you're just breaking the ice with them. Because before you came, they already got a postcard in the mail from house to house, heart to heart that looks like it came from your congregation, sent from the Sullivan Village Church of Christ. We mail them out. Every time that list, we automatically mail that out to them and invite them to worship. So now they already know who you are. They've gotten that postcard. Now you're taking them a gift, and you maybe got a house to house, heart to heart copy in there with it. So now it's starting to become familiar to them, the name of the congregation. Wait about a month, go back over again. Maybe take some baked goods or something, but go back over, just stop in, check on them again. You're starting to build that relationship with them that's going to turn into a Bible study. Sometimes it'll happen very fast. A lot of times they'll go ahead and come visit. In fact, most people now, used to this wasn't the case, but most people now are more likely to change their place of worship when they move than any other time. Used to, if you're a Baptist, didn't matter where you're going. If you're a Catholic, it didn't matter where you're going, you're going to stay in a Catholic. Not that way anymore. People, they move now, they're willing to change their place of worship. They may be a Baptist in Wichita Falls, but they'll be a Church of Christ right here in Lawton, Oklahoma, because they don't know anybody. They don't have any ties, so to speak, and so they're willing to change. If you're the first person that gets to them, they'll come visit you. They'll show up and at least come by and visit a high percentage of the time. So we've got the message. We know what we're doing. We need a strategy. We need materials. You got to be prepared when you're going out. You got to have the right materials. Mark 6:8-9, and commanded they should take nothing for their journey save a staff, but be shod with sandals. Be prepared. The worst thing you can do door knocking is go cold, blind, and have no idea what you're doing and not be ready. So maybe you got some tracts. Maybe you got some door hangers. Maybe you got some DVDs. You do have some of this stuff. I saw it back here in the back. Here's some of the things you do. You always have a stack of contact cards with you because your goal is to get their contact information. I said on that one year, we knocked 151 doors and we got 31, I think it was, contacts. Well, that's 31 people now that we can prospect through compassion cards. It's 31 people that we can start building relationships with. So you always want to have a stack of contact cards. When Jamie and I knock doors, she's got that contact card, she's got a pen ready to take that information. I'm getting in a conversation with a person, I ask them their information, buddy, she's writing it down so we can be ready to go back and fill out compassion cards. Does it matter? We have a DVD version. If people don't have a DVD, there's some door hangers there, and on the back side there's a QR code that'll take them to an online Bible study. They can sit and watch Rob going through the study. There's one that says gift card right there. I don't know if y'all have any of these or not. They're pretty new. I don't know. You might have them back there. But what it is, it looks like, but it's a free Bible study is basically what it is. But you can get them even, it's like a little business card or whatever. You hand them out, and people can scan that QR code, and it takes them to a Bible study. So, you have some copies of house to house, heart to heart with you. In other words, what I'm saying, when you go, just be prepared and have some things with you to hand them when you knock on the door so you don't just show up cold with nothing to give to them. Don't be over-prepared. So you don't want to go to the door and have 5 people with armloads of stuff when you go to the door. You don't want to overwhelm them, but you just want to have if you have some door hangers and maybe some DVDs, it's great to take that. Just some little things like that. We have invitation cards. Have you seen those yet, the invitation cards? They're pretty new too. You can get them, 1,000 of them for $75. They're very, very inexpensive. 1,000 of them for $75. They'll have a picture that you send us a picture of the front of your building. Austin Fowler, he'll put it on the card. It'll say the Sullivan Village Church of Christ. It'll have your worship times. It'll have a QR code that goes to your website or Facebook if you have one of those. It'll have, on the back it says invited by, and it's got a blank so people can write their name. Bundle them up in packs of 10 with a rubber band, hand every single member. Then you members, here, I think sometimes we underestimate the role of member. Members are the engine of evangelism. You don't have evangelism if you don't have the members involved. The members got to be involved. So when you're going out to eat, leave one of them on the table. Inviting somebody to church. When you go to the bank, stick one in the little tube when you send your deposit in. When you go to the hair salon, give one to your hairdresser or give one to your barber. Pass those things out like candy. They're dirt cheap, and we're seeing baptisms coming in across the country from invitation cards. In Glencoe, there was one lady that was up in her years. She went to the bank, and she stuck one of them in the tube and sent it into the teller. Sunday morning, the teller was at the bank. She said, Miss So-and-so has been a customer at this bank for 60 years. If she invites me to church, I'm going to church. They got in a Bible study with her, and she was baptized. She's a member there now. All off of an invitation card through a bank tube. So it's a very effective way of things that you can hand out. Then he gave them a manner. Matthew chapter 10, verse 12, and when you come into a house, salute it. So Acts chapter 2, verse 47, praising God and having favor with all the people. Why do you think that people flocked around Jesus? Like, why was there multitudes following Jesus? Because he had favor with them. He had favor with them. He had compassion on them. They knew that he cared about people. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. People want to know that they're cared for. So when you go up to a house, you're going to be ready. You're going to go up. You want to have favor with the people, so you're going to assume they see you. So don't do anything goofy when you're standing on the porch. Don't say anything you shouldn't say when you're standing on the porch. Remember, almost everybody has Ring doorbells now. So you're on a camera as soon as you walk onto their property. So behave like you're on a camera. Just always know that you're on a camera when you show up. Always assume they hear you. Don't stand there and say on the porch, oh man, I hope they don't answer the door. I don't have any idea what I'm going to say if they do. Don't do that. Don't say. We went up and knocked on a door a few months ago. We're knocking on, the lady that had the cancer that passed away the other day, we're knocking on her door, and her neighbor come over trying to see what was going on, I guess, because she's an elderly woman. He saw, and I don't know if he thought it was Jehovah's Witness or what, but he runs back to his house. So then we walk over and we go up to his house, and the glass door, the storm door shut, but the wood door's open, and I can see his rocking chair rocking, and there's nobody in it. And then all of a sudden, the wood door slowly closes. He's like standing behind the door, closing the door, you know. Hey, me and Jamie, we just went on and walked to the next one. And I'm not going to say, well, what's wrong with this guy? Why didn't he answer his door? Because I'm probably on camera. I'm on a video. He's hearing what I'm saying. So always assume they're hearing and seeing everything that you do and say. Find common ground. That's what I was saying a while ago, whether it's a pet, a toy, a sports team, a veteran, something that you can get on common ground with them, and then keep your conversation short. You're not going over there, Saturday. It's a lot of people's only real day off, that they can get caught up. They're not trying to have you at their house for 2 or 3 hours visiting. Now if they're wanting to visit, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is, don't wear out your welcome. Remember that phrase? Don't wear out your welcome. Just make contact, keep it very brief, and then move on. What you're trying to do is get their contact information. Then you can follow back up on that at a later time. Matthew 10:13, and if you go, be worthy, and let your peace come upon it. Romans 10:15, and how shall they preach except they be sent? As is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. You have something that you can bring people that they can't get anywhere else. They're not going to get it from the government. They're not going to get it from their friends. They're not going to get it from their places of work. They're not going to get it from their hobbies. There's no salvation found anywhere outside of Christ. And you can bring them that. You can save their life. We have family, we have friends that if we knew tomorrow somebody was going to come kick their door in and shoot them and kill them, we would do anything we could to prevent it. We'd have the cops there, we'd have the security there, we'd be sitting on the front porch locked and loaded and ready to lay our own lives down to protect those people, and yet we know they're going to hell and we don't say a word about it. We've got to change our attitude and our outlook on evangelism. People's lives are dependent on it. It's the greatest mission the Lord's given us to do. He gave them motivation. Matthew 10:14, whosoever shall not receive you nor hear your words when you depart out of the house or city, shake off the dust off your feet. I told you a while ago, most everybody at some point in their life will hear the gospel, but most of them it's not right now, not today. Don't get discouraged when it happens. When you knock on their door and they say, I don't want to give you my contact information, or when you knock on their door and they say, hey, it's Saturday, leave me alone, and they shut the door in your face, just go on to the next door. Don't get discouraged. Don't do the whole, I knocked doors one time in 1983 and it didn't work and I'm never doing it again. Keep doing it. It's a numbers game. We know, it's not a secret. We know many are going to be called and few are going to be chosen. We know the road's going to be narrow that's going to heaven. It's not, if you didn't know that, there's a spoiler for you. It's throughout the Bible. We already know that most people, this is not the most popular thing. We know that we may be persecuted, we may suffer when we go out. We know that people may be hateful to us, or they may be rude to us, or they may slam the door in our face, or they may yell. It doesn't matter, because there's that one that you're going to find that you're going to change their life with the gospel. You're going to take the gospel to them, and they're going to give their life to Christ, and they're going to leave this life saved spiritually when they were destined for death. Don't let rejection discourage you. Remember, they rejected Jesus too. They'll reject us as well. Matthew 10:26 through 31, fear them not. They can't do anything to you. There's nothing they can do to you other than just say, no, I'm not interested. I don't want to hear it. Just keep going to the next person. It's a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the more people you're going to baptize and get into a Bible study with. Some of the results that we've had, this is from Granbury Street last year. You can see over on the right-hand side how many cards were mailed. That's compassion cards. But look at the percentages. I want you to notice something. You see one percentage that's way higher than any other ones? 83% on new movers. It's your most effective tool for door knocking. But this is the success rate. Listen, if you could go out and knock on 300, or Monday, if you could go knock on 642 doors, and you have 220 people open the doors, and you get 56 contact cards collected, that's a 25% success rate. That ain't a bad deal, folks. If you can get 25% of the people you knock on their door to give you their information, that's a pretty good deal. Why it's so high on Thursday, because as the new movers, you already have their information. That's why you're at their house. But you have really good results from it. You can see benevolence. What we did, we just took a different tactic each day that we knocked doors. We started with cards, went to prayers, went to house, heart to heart, went to benevolence, went to new movers. And then on Friday, just did what everybody picked what they wanted to do. And this is the results from it, and resulted in 12 yards mowed, 89 visitors at community meals, and 20 people attended worship the next Sunday out of those doors. 20 new visitors. Now, if you have 20 people attended to worship, and you get 80% of those into a Bible study with a 90% success rate, now you got 13, 14, 15 baptisms off a week of work. This was the American Mission Campaign in Granbury. Last year in Troy, Illinois, same thing. I mean, the numbers are almost identical. A little bit lower, but not much. And again, 25 visitors from the community Friday night, 7 visitors on Sunday morning. So, 1,932 doors knocked, and you got 7 visitors on Sunday morning. Out of those 7 visitors, you're probably going to end up with maybe 5 baptisms. So 1,900. You see the many getting the few? It's a numbers game, folks. We got to go to the many if we're going to get the few. This was the Cary Church of Christ in Cary, North Carolina. Same thing. I mean, Thursday is always the highest one because that's the one that we do the new movers on. But you can see the amount of doors that were knocked, 1,721 doors knocked. It resulted in 1,535 cards being mailed. 28% rate average on getting contact cards. So, you can just figure, you can bank every 100 doors you knock, you're going to get contact information for 25. So you have your contact cards we'll talk about a little bit tomorrow, the bookmarks, but this is just other ways that you can gather those contacts up. It's other ways. It's going to lead to baptism. It's going to lead to Bible studies. So that's the door knocking. Any questions on how to work that or how that happens? How many of you have knocked doors in the last 5 years? Several of you. I'm going to tell you what, a lot of congregations, this is none. People aren't knocking doors anymore. Have you had success at it? It can be a success. It's not the most successful thing you're going to do, but it can be successful, and you can lead people to Christ doing it. What we got to do is take this over here, and this over here, and this over here, and this over here. You got door knocking, you got new movers, you got the visitor program, you got compassion. You take all these components and put them together, and you've got a well-oiled machine that saves souls. It's called congregational evangelism, And it takes the entire membership involved for it to happen. Can't be on the backs of a few people. Sure enough, can't be on the back of your preacher. So many congregations, they say that's what the preacher gets paid to do. I want to tell you something. One, it's not fair. He's got a million things going on. And two, it's not scriptural. That great commission was given to every single one of us. There's no one excluded from it. We're not all going to be teachers, but there's a spot for every one of us to fulfill that great commission. And we will, make no mistake about it, we will stand before our Lord and answer for that one day. If we can help you in any way with that, then we want to do that. I hope this has helped you clarify a little bit of stuff this afternoon. Tomorrow we're going to focus more on contacts. We're going to focus on New Testament evangelism, and we're going to focus on where we fit in, how we can fit in, and where we can plug in so that we can be an effective part of evangelism. Any questions before we're done? Can we go to our Lord in prayer? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the congregation here in Lawton, Father, the work that they're doing and their drive, the fact that they're here this evening, Father, just shows their love for souls. And I'm thankful for that, Father, that they're willing to press forward and to reach out to those in this area to help bring souls to you before it's everlastingly too late, Father. And I just pray that you would be with this congregation, that you'd give them the boldness and the fortitude to stick with it, even in the face of rejection from time to time, Father, knowing that every single soul that's saved is such an ultimate blessing. We thank you so much for your Son who gave his life for us and opened a new covenant that we might be able to stand before him in a redeemed condition when our time here on this earth is done, Father. And I pray that we would all be found faithful, that we would all have adhered to your commands, and that we would fulfill the mission that you've given us. These things we ask in your Son's blessed and holy name. Amen. Thank you guys so much.